Nuno is set to prioritise a striker as an important signing this January transfer window. And in this video, we're going to talk you through the link so far to Forest. Welcome to your transfer news in December. Good morning, good evening, or good night. Hope you guys are doing well and welcome to transfer news in December. If you're enjoying the content, please don't forget to hit that like button. Subscribe to Forest Fan TV if you are new. And let me know in the comments down below, what position do you think we have to prioritize in this January transfer window? And don't forget, today's your last day to grab this bad boy signed framed Murillo shirt from Football Prizes. It is a beauty. You can also insta-win a Dominguez shirt or a Nuno shirt. All you need to do is scan this QR code or click on the link that's pinned in the comments. You got till 7:30 tonight. All right, let's jump into this. Look, I know it's December. I know the transfer window's not quite open yet, but deals and things are being discussed in the background of, well, not just Forest, but all clubs around. And we're starting to get a feel for what Nuno is targeting. Like, everything is rumours at the moment, and we haven't really had a chance to update you over the last week or so because of all the games Forest have been playing. So what I want to do today is talk you through a few of the strikers that have been linked with Forest, how likely I think these deals are, and do I want them or not? And more importantly, I want to know what you guys think about these strikers. So let's jump into it and let's get talking transfers. All right, so let's kick this off with the first striker. And as I say, remember, this is still rumoursville because it's December and nothing's really granted, right? And I really hope not in this case. But I'm going to start with Dominic Calvert-Lewin, the Everton striker, who is refusing to sign a new contract at the moment with Everton and is coming up to the end of that duration and will be free to discuss with clubs in January a move away from Goodison, or their new stadium, come the end of the season. He's on 100k, 27 years old. He's got a decent-ish enough goal-scoring record. Let me talk you through it, right? So in 2018, he got 6, 19-13 the year after 16, 5 in 21-22, 2 in 22-23, and this year he's got 7 goals in 32 games. So he is okay at scoring goals. I just don't think he's been consistent enough, and I'll be honest with you guys, I don't rate him that highly either. As I mentioned, he's on 100 grand. Now, Forest could pick him up for a free. There are a few other clubs interested in him as well. To be honest, when a Premier League striker comes on the market, you expect at least 4 or 5 clubs to have a look at him. It's his injury record though, guys. It's horrific. It really is. I mean, just looking through this list, right? This year alone, he's been out with illness a couple of times, picked up a knock, he's had a thigh injury. You look at last year, he had a calf strain, head injury, hamstring, thigh again, hamstring, ligament the year before. The injury record is appalling when it comes to him. This is probably the longest he's been fit for a long while. And he has knocked in a few goals for a very defensively minded Everton team. But I don't think his form is even that great right now, even while he's fit. There's talks that a lot of Everton fans prefer the other striker that they've got to start, even though he's crap ahead of Calvert-Lewin. And it then comes down to the whole debate. And it reminds me of Che Adams in the summer. When I was saying to you guys, Che Adams, man, so what if he's free? It doesn't mean he's good. We don't need to collect these freebies just because they are free. And there's no such thing as free when it comes to football, because Calvert-Lewin, being on 100 grand, would demand a lot more on wages because he knows there is no transfer fee attached to him. There's a signing on bonus, there's agency fees. Sometimes you even have to pay for their families to move and buy them houses and crap on the transfers like this. But putting all that aside, if I'm looking from a purist point of view in terms of football and what he can offer, I just don't see it, and I don't like it that much, to be honest. And in fact, I'd be fully against it. But that's just my opinion on him. Yes, the pros are cost-wise not too much in the long term in terms of PSR and everything like that. Cons, I just think he's crap. I don't know. What do you guys think? Would you take Calvert-Lewin at Forest? Let me know in the comments down below. All right, let's move on and talk about the second striker, and that's Evan Ferguson from Brighton, who's being linked with a move away from Brighton this January. And Forest and Nuno are very interested in him. The striker has a few issues. Let's talk about those. He was injured for a lot of last season. He's come back this season and is probably technically playing second fiddle to Danny Welcrap. Now, he has scored a goal. He's made about 10 appearances this year for Brighton, but is struggling to get into that first team and has got so frustrated that he's ready and willing to leave in January. This is a striker that was linked about a year or two ago to the likes of Man U, to the likes of Spurs for around £100 million, and he's still extremely young, and it's going to be a tough one. Now, from reports that are coming out, this one is a high priority on Nuno's wish list in terms of a striker he wants, and I can fully understand why. For me, he is a younger version of Chris Wood, a bit of a Raul Jimenez in him. He is the ideal striker that fits a Nuno system in terms of his play style and how he plays football on the pitch and how he would link up with wingers, his presence, he's quite physical, etc. And this is exactly the type of striker that Nuno likes. It almost fits his system like an absolute glove. Now, in terms of his current valuation, he's worth about £40 million on the market. However, Brighton to sell to Forest is a very hard deal to do. Why? Because we are so close in the table currently. And the likelihood that they would sell to Forest would mean that they would notch up a few extra million on that price tag. So I think if Forest wouldn't want to get this through, you're probably looking at the thick end of £50 million for this deal. Now, there could be the possibility, and there have been a few rumours, that there could be a similar deal that we did with Chris Wood in terms of a loan to buy obligation, or maybe even an option. But with him wanting to leave the club so badly, it is very likely that he leaves in January. There are also added things and problems to chuck in this. The main reason he wants to leave is because he is not getting first team football. If he was to come to Forest, does he or can he guarantee that he would push past Chris Wood? That for me is a big sticking issue. I love the idea of this signing. Ignore what Ant says, he doesn't know nothing about football. Ferguson has a lot of potential, but more so than the potential is what I said about his style and how it fits the Nuno system. I would like to see this one happen. I think there are good legs in this in terms of how he fits in. But I just worry about what it would mean for Chris Wood. Ideally for me, if Ferguson was to come in, while Wood is in this red hot purple patch, he needs to play second fiddle with the eye to next season about making him the permanent number one. Because as much as Chris Wood has been unreal this season, he really has. He's in his 30s. He's just had his birthday. How many more years has he got left at that top flight, real cutting edge level? But for Ferguson to come in and play second fiddle to Chris Wood, I don't know if his mindset is set on that. I don't know about this one. I'd love to see it happen. I think there's a quality striker in him. Being so young, Nuno could mould him right into what he wants out of him. He scored, I think, 13 goals in 57 appearances for Brighton in the Premier League. I like this one. It's going to be expensive and it's going to cost us more because Brighton are so close to us in the table. What do you guys think? Would you be up for this one or not? Let me know in the comments down below. Okay, the next striker I want to talk to you guys about is Yuri Alberto, the Brazilian from Corinthians, where, yes, we got Murillo, is really heavily linked to Forest. There are rumours that Forest have tabled a 23 million bid already on him. Corinthians have said they will not look at anything below 20 million euros. So that 23 million bid for me, one sounds too much. Now, he would be the kind of striker that would come in to play that understudy role to Chris Wood and maybe look to be developed over the summer in a pre-season and brought in next year. And I don't even think he would be brought in straight away as a number one for that number 9 position. I'm not fully convinced on this one. You guys know I love a Brazilian coming to Forest. I just don't think he's been having a great time of it at Corinthians. And I would argue he's probably more a player that his physicality doesn't suit the Premier League. I don't think he's quite strong enough. I'll kind of play second fiddle to the Brazilians out there who watch him week in, week out, but he's not one that's fully caught my eye. Now, does that mean he can't come into the Premier League and develop and be developed into a great striker? No, of course it doesn't. But it's quite a risk to buy this striker, bring him in on the hopes after spending 20 odd million that you're going to develop him into this striker. The other thing to note as well, he's 23 years old. This is very late in Brazilian terms to be making the move across to Europe. And this kind of will play in, and I won't go into it, to the whole buying the Brazilian club and having feeder clubs in from there in Portugal, Olympiacos, etc. If that was the case, I probably would want to see him going to Olympiacos for a year and then coming to Forest, etc. So he has some kind of European experience. I'm not fully sold on this one, I'll be honest with you guys, but my exposure to him is quite limited in terms of how he's played, how he does play and everything. From what I've seen, I haven't gone, that's the guy we need to bring in to replace Chris Wood in the long term. Now, with all this striker talk, it doesn't necessitate that Chris Wood's going to be chucked out, you know, with the leftovers from last night's dinner. He is still high on Forest's priority list in terms of signing him up for a new contract. But it is clear to see that Taiwo just hasn't come back as the Taiwo we loved and remembered from the end of the first season. And I think it is extremely smart that Forest recruit a new striker, ideally this January transfer window. And it needs to be someone, for me, who can challenge Chris Wood. At the very least, they have to be on level par with him, because if he gets injured, I don't know what we do in that striker position. Yes, we can play Jota Silva there as a makeshift 9. Taiwo, maybe he finds his form back, but that's about it. We are very thin on the striking departments right now. I wouldn't be surprised if Forest brought in more than one striker this January window. Maybe Yuri Alberto as the long-term project, and then looking at the likes of Evan Ferguson as a direct replacement for Chris Wood, and someone who can step in straight away if needs be, if God forbid Chris Wood got an injury. But it's going to be extremely exciting this January window, because I'm sure you've all seen the interview of Marinakis. He's not going to sit on his hands. He's looking to recruit and improve this Forest team because he's smelling Europe. And for that to happen, he knows we have to recruit and recruit well this January window. But as I said at the start of the video, let me know what your priority position is in this transfer window. And if you haven't already, please don't forget to hit that like button. Subscribe to Forest Fan TV if you are new. We'll be back with more videos as always coming up for you. Make sure you check out Football Prizes, and thank you so much for the feedback on my Man United fan reaction. You guys loved it seems, so there'll be more of that coming after we beat Villa. We'll see you on the next video. Come on, you Reds.